everyone. Welcome back to the Remote No Pressure Podcast. Bill, it's awesome to see you here.
Yes, good to be back.
Live and in person. This is our first episode back for the Corona.
Second.
Well, yeah, but we're filming more. We're doing more than one episode today.
Yes.
So it is the first time you've been back in my house.
This is true.
Since the Rona.
That's right.
You didn't happen to get Rona.
No, not that I'm aware of, but there's been a lot of false negatives or false positives, I guess, that maybe I did, and if I could fail a test pretty easily, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe you have the antibodies already.
Maybe.
The thing is, it's like I don't know. I think my kids had it.
I had an antibody with the girls in the 90s, though, I tell
you. You pushed them away. You fought them away with your antibodies. Nobody's here.
Nope.
Pure
that
and holy.
That does not line up with my my philosophy.
You're turning red, Bill.
Oh, wow. That's just the lighting.
Would you guys like to see Bill turn red? Go to our YouTube channel. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. We have over 100 subscribers now, or maybe right at 100, depending on when this airs. But we have 100 subscribers. That's 1/10 of our goal of 1,000 people.
This is our 100-plus subscriber episode.
Exactly. I'm very happy. Thank you guys so much for going into YouTube. Maybe you've always wanted to have a YouTube. Maybe you're not on the YouTube. Go on there, sign up, and just subscribe. We appreciate it.
There are some things you can't watch on YouTube without a membership.
Yes.
So get a membership and then, hit subscribe on us. Yeah.
Yeah, subscribe. You know what?
You won't regret it.
You know what's so great? Being the conspiracy theorists that we are.
Yeah.
YouTube is the best thing ever. I mean, you could really dive deep, head first into a lot of conspiracies. I'm talking JFK. I'm talking Sasquatch. Yep. I'm talking COVID-19. So much.
A lot of good stuff out there.
It is. I watch YouTube, I think, more than regular TV now.
I trust YouTube, strangely enough, more than most of the news.
Really?
I mean, you got to take it with a grain of salt, some of it, a lot of it. But I mean, like, more than like CBS.
Are you an Alex Jones fan?
No, he's far from where I am. Like,
I think he's one of the most entertaining individuals. He's not on YouTube anymore.
He's no Jerry Springer.
He's very entertaining, especially being the conspiracy theorist I
yes.
am. But I don't believe everything he says. But I love to because he gets so riled up. Like, did you see him on Rogan?
I have before. Yes.
Oh my gosh, he gets so riled up.
He keeps talking and he keeps talking, and you have to stop him.
Yes.
Have you seen him on Crowder?
No.
He's been on Crowder too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to stop him because he gets so riled up. It's like, bro, man, like, and he's a bigger guy, and so it's fun to watch. I just enjoy. Like, there should be like a meter on the bottom to see how like frustrated he gets, and it just kind of builds, almost like our audio. You know how you see the audio and it gets really loud, the waves get bigger, so almost like you could measure like. And I bet there's a correlation, with that.
But what's crazy is how he's been cut off from all his avenues of communications. He has to be special guests on these shows to be able to be heard.
He's not on YouTube. He's not on Twitter. He's not on any of those anymore.
Yeah. They banned him. They blacklisted him.
And he talks a lot. I think what really killed him was he said that there was a school shooting out in Colorado. He said was fake. And that was pretty messed up.
Yeah.
And I understand why people would be ticked off about that, especially as parents and things like that. Of your those are my kids that happened. I think it was something like some of his listeners were showing up at the parents' house to see if it was true or not. Well, that's really messed up.
Yeah.
Like if your kids pass away in something that tragic, like you better leave. You better leave me alone.
Yeah. But what if he was right?
Speaking of which, did you see Grand Rapids made the news? CBS Morning News.
I did.
CBS came in and staged a COVID film.
Yep.
Where
people were lining up.
They were making them line up just so it looked more busy, so it looked like more, and they had to retract it.
Yeah.
They retracted. I can't believe it. This is why I hate Fox News. This is why I hate CBS. I hate CNN. I hate ABC. I hate all of them. I don't know who to trust anymore. I think that's part of the problem with the COVID-19.
Yeah.
But
fear-mongering. If you try to look out there to see, like, numbers are, like, dreadful. We're at, like, almost 50,000 now here in Michigan infected when this is airing, or when this is being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 4,000 plus deaths, and only, like, 15,000 recovered. They're only updating that recovered number once a week.
Well, the CDC changed it. We only have 1,500 deaths now in Michigan.
Oh, see, I
Yeah.
did not hear that. But so even so, then the infected number should have gone down too, because they were putting infected and deaths as still one. They weren't subtracting the deaths from the infected, nor were they subtracting the recovered from the infected. And if you wanted to find out the actual recovered number, you got to dig for it. They just want to fearmonger and make you afraid.
Yeah, it's like going to the grocery store and over the speakers, they're giving all this information. I feel like I'm in 1984.
Yeah.
Where they're like brainwashing me, and I'll take the facts and I'll make some decisions based on those facts. But it's really a tough time for me.
Yeah.
It's like, what do I believe? I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, if this is a truly like the next Spanish flu and there's going to be millions of people dying, well, yeah, I want to stay home. I don't want to be out. But
yeah.
If it's not that bad and they're wanting me to force me to take a vaccine or something that they own the patents to, so they can make a bunch of money.
Yeah, I will not be taking a vaccine.
Again, being the conspiracy theorist that I am, and I tend to be anxious already. That tends to be my demeanor. It's really tough for me.
And even just talking about this on YouTube, they could ban us. Have you seen that?
Well, I'm not saying either way. I'm not saying whether it's true, because it's not that I have an opinion. I do, and I personally think it's a balance, right? I think it's always a balance somewhere in between there. People are obviously dying of this disease, so you can't diminish that. I've got a good friend whose dad died of it. Yeah. So I know it's a real thing. People say, well, I might have known a guy, and no, I actually know someone who died from COVID-19. Yep. So I know it's an issue, but yet I'm not gonna. I digress. I don't know.
Yeah.
I am a conspiracy theorist, and it's hard for me to live in this life sometimes.
But it could help? Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
And it could help you out in public?
What's that, Bill?
The Bigfoot buff.
The Bigfoot buff. Yes. You need a mask? We've got a mask for you.
Absolutely.
$10 right now on our website at remotenopressure.com. Maybe you want a creative mask, and maybe you want to go to the grocery store and be left alone because they're going to require you to put a mask on, right?
Yep.
But you also want to go out into the woods and be left alone by Sasquatch.
Yep.
You can have both with our Sasquatch buff.
Yeah, and there's a guarantee on that, isn't there?
There's a 100% guarantee that you will not be attacked by a Bigfoot. If you get it caught on tape and you're attacked by Bigfoot, we will give you $100.
$100.
Yeah.
You can't afford not to buy this.
You can't afford not to. You can't afford, and it can't be one of those grainy photos either.
It might be good though. Maybe we'll post it later.
We'll post it and see if people think it's real or not. And the one with the most real, it looks real. We'll give you $100.
That's right. We'll fundraise for that. We'll start a GoFundMe for that.
Exactly.
For that prize.
And there's another company we'd like to give a big shout out to, Nectar Sunglasses.
Yes.
Bill, tell us about your experience with Nectar Sunglasses.
So it started out for me about 2 years ago. I signed up for one of those camping subscription boxes, and they just kind of send you like whatever small, inexpensive stuff they can fit in a box. You pay about $30 a month for it. And they sent me a pair of Nectar sunglasses.
Okay.
And I liked them, and then they screwed up, and a couple months later, they sent me another pair. So I've had 2 pairs of these.
Okay.
And, I wore these things, like, religiously every day, every time I was driving into work, going out in the woods for a hike, going fishing. They're awesome sunglasses. And then they contacted Jeff.
Right.
Because of the picture of me with the buff that you can find on the website when you're signing up for the buff today for your to be able to go out in public. And what did they say to you?
Well, they just said, "Hey, we saw the picture of Bill in the buff with our old sunglasses."
Whoa!
On.
I was not in the buff.
Not in the buff.
I was wearing a buff.
Wearing the buff.
Actually, not a buff.
It's not a buff. We're not allowed to call it a buff.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. It's copyrighted word.
And I was not online in the buff.
Yeah. Well, that you are. It's just that's paid content. You guys got to pay extra. Show the toe. Show the toe. No, but they sent us another pair, and you said that your initial pair broke.
Yeah.
And what did they do when you called them?
Well, when we got these, they sent us each a pair.
New ones.
Brand new pair of glasses for fishing, and these things are amazing. When we're out, like you can really see in the water well with them.
Yeah, they're polarized.
On the box, it showed lifetime warranty. And so I'm like, I'm gonna try calling on because I just broke my second pair like 2 weeks ago, and so I emailed them their customer service and let them know what happened. Took photos, And I said, my first pair broke exactly the same way. And they sent me a pair for free. And they said since they didn't have proof of purchase for either of them, and I didn't have photos of the first one, they would have to charge me like half the price. So it was like a $20 fee. Still a good deal for these glasses. So yeah.
So your customer, I mean, things break. Bottom line is,
Yeah.
I don't care if people say, "Oh, this will last forever." Things break. But your experience with customer service, they give you any crap about it, or were they just super?
They were super awesome. All through email. It took about a day to reply because of the COVID.
Right.
But they were super courteous, and I would totally recommend their customer service.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, how are you going to... I think that's a sign of a great business and something that's not going to be around for very long. Because when they're like... I remember used to at Walmart, you could just go in there and they would ask you no questions. They just take whatever you have and replace it or whatever. You know, and now there's a little bit more, stringent on that with Walmart. But like, whenever you look at a company, they're going to give the user the benefit of the doubt. That, to me, says that they're a great company.
Yeah, they didn't even ask to see pictures of the first one that broke. And I could have been totally lying to them.
Right.
I wasn't, but I could have been.
Right. And then they just give you no crap and they replace them. And I talked to the owner of Nectar and just a great guy, a great person with a great heart. And I've been using them. I've always used another very, very expensive sunglasses that I've used, Ray-Bans actually. And they're great. They're great fishing. They're great, polarizing. I think.
Yeah.
But these glasses are like they cover my face better. Yep. I can't explain it. When I go fishing, I love my Nectar sunglasses.
Yep. We'll wear them out sometime and take some video while we're out fishing.
Yeah, be sure to go below. Put some links in the show notes there for Nectar sunglasses. Also, big shout out to Phil Wingo with Sandhill Coffee. Sandhill's offering you a discount, a 20% off discount when you type in remote 20 at checkout. Phil Wingo, and that's probably going to cover most of your shipping if you order coffee from him. So you can't afford not to order the coffee.
You can't afford not to.
He sent me some experimental beans.
Oh,
not a whole pound or whatever, but just a little bit. And I have some for you, Bill.
Oh,
don't let me forget when we go upstairs.
Right.
It's a nice blend. It's an experimental blend. Dude, it's his best coffee yet.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the other stuff was good, but when he sent this to me, I was like, experimental. I don't know, but I'm always trying new things, And
put hair in your chest.
Yeah, I did. It puts lots of hair on my chest.
Keep them away from your wives.
Would you like to see the hair on my chest? Go over to the YouTube channel and be sure to subscribe, and you can see things like the hair on my chest.
Show the toe.
Show the toe. I have no hair on my chest at all whatsoever. No, I got a hair on my toe, but not on my chest.
Couldn't quite make the trek north.
Yeah, exactly. Well, today in other news, Bill, have you ever worn a mullet?
Not a true mullet like we're seeing in front of us. I in the 90s, I always had longer hair, like especially in the back. And it would be shorter on the sides, but a little bit longer on the back, not like past the, much past the collar. Maybe at the collar a little bit more, but not crazy.
Yeah, well, this is intimate portraits of the majestic mullets of Mullet Fest 2020. It says, Joe Exotic, eat your heart out. Now, didn't you say they're making a Tiger King movie?
They are making a Tiger King movie, either a movie or a TV miniseries with Nicolas Cage.
God, Nicolas Cage, dude.
As Joe Exotic.
That is the perfect casting for Joe Exotic. Nicolas Cage. It's going to be so funny. Did you ever see Raising Arizona?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that movie was the bomb. I saw it when I was a kid because we got free Encore or something when I was a little kid for the weekend. And I watched Raising Arizona, and I'm like, hell yeah, this is the best show ever, the best movie ever.
That was Coen Brothers, I think.
Yeah, it was. I love Raising Arizona. But anyways, we'll put this up there. There's some intimate portraits of some kind of mullet fest going on. So we'll be, holy crap.
Wow. Look at those golden locks or those red locks there.
Yeah, look at that. That's ginger locks. That's something you don't see a lot. A ginger mullet.
No.
Very unique. I don't know.
That's dedication to the hairstyle in these photos. I mean, you really got to be all in.
Yeah, with the mullet, with a true mullet, it's all or nothing. So
and you can't be taken serious.
No, you can't. As hard as you try, it's hard to be taken seriously. I don't know.
Yeah, so check that out. That'll be down below.
Yeah, it will be. This week on the Remote No Pressure podcast, we're talking to Keith Scott. He's been on our Facebook before. He's a blues artist out of Chicago, an awesome human being. Like, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
and his reputation precedes him. I go to the Orvis shop here in Grand Rapids. People know him. They say, you got to talk to Keith Scott. I've talked to Keith Scott. People, Robert Tomes, several people have said, you've got to talk to Keith. And we did the first time, and we became friends. He's just a really nice guy. He's a blues artist, and he's here to... Are you a blues guy?
I do like the blues, yeah.
Going back to blues, and Blues Brothers was like one of my favorite movies.
That was a good one.
You know the stars, the people that played in that?
Yep.
Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles.
Yep.
I can't even name them all.
James Brown?
James Brown was in there. Yeah, there was a lot of famous. Like every other scene, there was a cameo of someone famous.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love Blues Brothers. Chicago.
Now, what about Blues Brothers 2?
I don't know.
Or 2000, whatever it's called? Yeah.
Yeah. The number 2s, except for Back to the Future, all other sequels are the worst.
Back to the Future was great.
Back to the Future 2 was the best one in the series.
I liked 3 also.
You told me that before.
Westerns. I like Westerns.
I watched 3 the other day. It was actually pretty good. It was on, I think it's on Netflix. It's the only one that's on Netflix. But number 3 was good.
Yeah.
Number 1 was good. But number 2, when he played Johnny B. Good, because it was in like 1985 when they made that movie.
Yep.
When he played Johnny B. Good on the first one, I thought, I'm going to play guitar. Now, I'm not as good as, Stevie Ray Vaughan or whoever it was playing. But I knew I wanted to play guitar when I saw that.
Yeah.
That was so cool. Well, that was my favorite scene of any movie in the 80s. Do you have a favorite scene?
Oh, of any movie in the 80s? Or of that? Oh,
what's your favorite scene in any movie other than, what's your favorite scene?
Wow, you're really putting me on the spot here. I can't even answer that one because, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've, appreciated a movie so much,
Right. Yeah, we consume differently now.
We do.
Used to, you had to go out to the Blockbuster, the grocery store. We actually used to rent movies from the grocery store.
Oh, wow. We did a party store in my hometown.
Oh, yeah. So you had to go rent this thing, and then you go home, and you have to watch it.
Yep.
And you have to be kind. You have to rewind.
Yep.
And you have to take that joker back.
Yep.
But it was like this whole ceremony behind it. There was this...
you looked forward to it.
You look forward to it. Now it's like, oh, what's streaming? Okay, I guess I'll watch this movie.
Oh, this movie's crap. I'm going to stop it.
Right. It doesn't have the... the tradition behind it. You're not going to, there's usually like a Little Caesars or pizza place close by. So you go there and you got your VHS movie, you get some food, and then you take it home and, popcorn.
Yep.
Now it's just like, the kids are asleep. I guess I'll stream something.
Yep.
It's different. It's just different. There's not the pomp and circumstance, I guess that's what you call it, of movie consumption. Anyways. I had a really weird thing that just came in my head. But anyways, I'm going to refrain because we're at 18 minutes. But I'm very excited to have Keith Scott here this week on the Remote No Pressure podcast, a Midwestern guy, playing some jams for us. Welcome to the podcast. Let's light the fire. All right. Well, today on the Remote No Pressure podcast, I'm very excited to have Mr. Keith Scott from Chicago. How you doing, Keith?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm so excited about being here today, man. Really am.
Good. Now that's a sweet guitar you got there. Is that a parlor guitar? That a little bit bigger? Or?
It's it's called an art luthier, but it's what's that called? It's not a dreadnought. It's just a mini, a small scale guitar I got in Holland, Michigan at RIT Music, but it's beautiful.
Did Dell Langens make it or not?
No, it's made in Canada. Art luthier.
Okay. Do you know Dale from RIT Music?
I know the guy that does all the repairs. I think that's Dale. Yeah.
But actually, Dale was at Firehouse. He was a luthier at Firehouse Guitars there in Holland.
No, I don't think it's Dale that I bought it from. It's the other guy that owns it.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a guy there, the guy that owns RIT. He's the only guy I take my guitars to because he does a great job. And I actually have a Langens that was made by Dale Langens there at Firehouse in Holland. He's retired since then, but
that was a great place. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that guitar is phenomenal. It's rosewood back and sides. It's got a spruce top. It's perfect for what I'm doing. It's just high quality there, but.
This guitar, I traded, and I had traded actually a Seagull before my gig at New Holland Brewery. I go, I can't stand this guitar anymore. And I just walked right in there and they gave me $250 for that guitar. And I gave them another $250 and walked out and played the gig on this guitar.
There you go. That's awesome. Speaking of New Holland, I'm actually playing there in June at a songwriting series. Hopefully.
Oh, great.
It's going to be at the New Holland in in Grand Rapids, the new big
Oh,
one that
for
they have.
Matt.
Yeah, so I'm
Me
excited.
too.
Are you
I'm playing in August 13th.
for the songwriter series?
Yeah, on a Friday.
Dude, that's phenomenal, man. We'll get our crew out there for you, man, for sure.
That'd be awesome.
I
That
didn't know
place
you were
is the
playing.
best.
Yeah, it really is. Well, Keith, I appreciate you hanging out with us. Let me just tell you a few things. Your reputation precedes you. You've been on the podcast before, but you have such a great name throughout the fly fishing community. It's not just a phenomenal musician, but also just a good human being. So I just want to let you know you come very highly regarded from several of our friends here locally, and some of our Chicago friends as well. I can't tell you how many times people are like, dude, you got to have him. You got to have Keith Scott on the podcast, and I'm like, okay, that's sweet. And so I called you, and I don't know if I caught you off guard last time on the first episode, but I'm really excited to have you back.
This is going to be better, and I following Robert Tomes, so this is great. I was excited about his podcast and his return. So
yeah,
this is just going to be better,
Yeah, for sure. Now, how do you know Robert?
I know him from New Buffalo, Michigan.
Now, does he just come there and fish, or how did you meet him in New Buffalo?
Well, there's a lady that runs the library there, and I met her, and she said, "Oh, you like to fish? You got to meet my family friend, Robert Tomes." So
nice.
Her name was Marguerite. Yeah,
Marguerite. That's a great name. Now, question for you: are you a gambler at all? Because isn't there a casino there in New Buffalo?
I have spent $2 at the casino.
It's been a couple times. Spent a couple.
The fishing game.
On the fishing game.
Big bass bucks.
There you go. There you go. Well, cool. Would you
That's
like to
my game, big bass bucks.
Now, how has the COVID affected you as a musician and as a performer that makes his living? I mean, how has COVID really affected you and your business?
Well, it mostly started out really bad, but there's a couple silver linings. I mean, I have lost all my work, man.
Yeah. Actually,
tonight I was supposed to be playing at Cle Elum, Washington at Mullen Brewery. So, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was supposed to play in Ireland in April. That got canceled. So,
a lot of crazy stuff.
I mean, it's unbelievable how much work's got canceled. Everything's just getting canceled.
I know. I'm hoping the New Holland gigs will stick around.
Me too. I'm hoping that June 1st stuff will get going.
Yeah. I think it will. But I tell you what, you want to start out and play us a little tune?
Yeah. I just had a message for Brian Kosminski that he tuned into my show last night.
Nice.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. Well, let's hear what you got, man.
Out of Texas, yo. Here we go. We got a little Texas blues.
All right.
I'm going down to Texas, baby. Way down behind us. I'm gonna cry to my baby. And my trouble man just bigger. When I get down out of league, man, girl is sure as fine. She's a mojo-loving woman, baby. I just can't go satisfied. I get it down to Texas. Oh, down behind us. If I can't ever bear it down, I'll ring y'all. My trouble man, just I'm gonna take it around, y'all.
Come on now.
All right. Yeah. Are you with me, man?
Come on.
Child, yeah. That's all she wrote, y'all. Thank you.
There you go, man. Now, did you write that tune, or is that?
I just wrote it.
There you go. Take it down to Texas. As you know, we have a lot of Texas influence on this podcast. I don't know.
You do. You got a lot of fly fishers down in Texas, don't you?
Absolutely. Yep.
Big River and everything.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be there right now. I'm supposed to play a big show in Austin
I'm supposed to be somewhere in Austin.
on Thursday. Big fly fishing show I was playing at for Aaron Reed's book release party.
You're kidding
The
me.
whole damn thing's been canceled. Yeah, we had a couple gigs down there too while we were down there, but that's all right. That's all right. We got Keith Scott taking us down to Texas instead, and that's fine.
Hey,
with me.
man, I'm always going down to Texas, Louisiana, or something.
Yeah, you got to. Those are the blues, Texas, the Louisiana, especially with the slide. Now you have the slide there. Is that more of a Southern thing, or is that a Chicago thing? I mean, you're in the Chicago blues.
I think it's a Chicago thing.
Do you?
Yeah, I think. I always consider it a Chicago.
Now, it's normally a 1-4-5 progression, right? So
that's all it is. Yep.
Yeah, that's all it is. Can I ask you a question? Do you ever get bored playing the same progressions over and over again, or you just find different things?
No, because I fill in through it with different stuff.
Uh-huh.
I just kind of mix it up. So try to keep it interesting.
It's so good, man.
There's like a lifetime of little variables you can put in the 12 bars to make it interesting.
That's
if you go too far out of the 12 bars, it starts. I do it occasionally, but sometimes it can sound really weird. So I try not to do it.
And that's what gets me. You can spend your whole life with 3 chords.
That's basically what it is.
3 chords, 12 bars, and you spend your whole life tweaking out little licks within that. Isn't that crazy?
Never figure them all out.
You won't. Your whole life, 3 chords.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And you got to keep it interesting. Different tempos, there's different styles.
The tempos. Yep.
But yet, it's still the 3 chords. It's still the same.
That's all it is. Yep.
That's awesome. Now,
go ahead. Yeah.
Now, how did you get into fly fishing? I mean, was that something? I know we talked about that on a previous episode, but how did you personally get in? Give me what my sharing.
I always had an old Fenwick fly rod, and I messed around with like poppers down in Florida, that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I really got into it in about 2005 in what's that called? The Driftless region of Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah, I was coming back from a college convention. I mean, I had all my regular rods with me, always, and I just kind of fell in love with that area. It's called Timber Coulee Creek.
Okay.
And spent a couple days there, just kind of watched a few people fish, and then on the way back to my apartment in Chicago, I stopped in Gander Mountain in Kenosha, where I met my friend John Graba and bought about $500 worth of stuff. Then I flew out to Yellowstone like in a few weeks and kind of sewed up the trout fishing thing, fly fishing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty simple.
I've spent money at Cabela's or Bass Pro or whatever it is now, but I had $150 one year for Christmas, and we were struggling. New kids, little kids and stuff. And
you got the kids and everything.
Yeah. So I had a $150 gift card. This has been probably 5-10 years ago. And we were just like, financially, it's like you're watching every single penny, So I go in there and I'm like, I'd like to get into fly tying, and I come out $400 later. Oh, my wife was mad.
Oh, you too.
She said you only had $150 on the gift card. She said, "Where did you get the other stuff?" I was like, "Well, I had to have it."
Fun.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I ended up spending way more, and that tends to happen. But
especially at Orvis.
Oh, Orvis, yeah, that happens quite frequently. But anyways, I was going to ask you too. How does fly fishing and music play off each other in your life, Keith?
Well, it's kind of like what I like about it. It's the same kind of thing. Like when you go to your gig, you pack up your guitar and your suitcase and everything. And when you go fly fishing, you pack up those rods and the tubes and your suitcase and you go to a place,
Yeah, exactly. You go somewhere else, you
same
escape.
Kind of thing,
Yeah. Have you?
Same kind of rhythm too. Rhythm in the casting, rhythm in the guitar. It's very similar.
Yeah, yeah. And you think about when you watch a river runs through it, they set up a metronome on the side of the river.
Right, I forgot.
Yeah, it's just to get that rhythm down.
Right.
It's very interesting, the correlation. And we've had lots of musicians on our. We had Woody Platt from Steep Canyon Rangers. We've had Dan Aid. He's a slide guitar for. He plays slide for Nora Jones. Dan Aid was here.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he was a fantastic guy. We've had.
Greg Brown's supposed to be a great fly fisherman.
Well, he's got some great tunes about fly fishing.
Yeah, I mean, he's an amazing musician.
A great writer. Do you know him at all?
No, I've been hoping to run into him, man. But I never have. But I always hear people always saying, "Oh, you got to meet Greg Brown if you like fishing."
Yeah, Greg Brown. And then locally we have Drew Nelson. I don't know if you're very familiar with him, but he's another great writer that we've had on the podcast.
No, I need to meet him.
Yeah,
I've heard about him.
He's here in Grand Rapids. He writes some really good tunes. I'm really into the lyrics. I love music. I love music, but I love the lyrics. The lyrics.
You're like a lyricist then, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I got into music is when I was 11 years old, I was in a really bad car accident with a drunk driver.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I couldn't walk for several months, and if I did, it was like you barely get around on a walker, and then it kind of got, my whole middle school career was either on crutches or a walker, a wheelchair kind of thing. And my dad had an old acoustic guitar in the closet. Like most people have an acoustic guitar somewhere in their family or
Sure.
And I thought, well, what the heck? If my dad can play guitar, I can play guitar. My dad's a smart guy, but I mean, it can't be too complicated. But it didn't take long before I realized I'm not going to be Joe Satriani or Steve Vai. I'm a good guitar player. I can hold my own. But really, it's the lyrics that I love to do, because I'm never going to be like a unbelievable guitar player. I'm good, but I'm not. I'm no Keith Scott. You know what I mean?
Well, it's good to be happy with what your best attribute to music is, right?
Right.
Lyricist, it's good to use that as your strong point for playing. If you're a big time lead player, it's good to use that. If you're a slide player, it's good to use that,
For sure. Now, you've played with the kings of blues, right? I mean, who are some of the guys that you've played? Just please name drop for me, Keith. Who are some of those people that you've played with? Buddy Guy, right?
I played with Junior Wells. I've sat in with Buddy Guy. Played with a guy named Luther Guitar Junior Johnson, Coco Taylor, Little Milton. I've jammed with Bo Diddley. I wasn't in his band, but I've jammed with him.
What's your most memorable moment in your career? Because you've been around a long. When did you start your career with blues in Chicago? Was it like in the early 80s?
Early 80s, like 83, I think.
I mean, that's been almost 40 years, 37
right.
years. What's been your most memorable moment to date?
You know what? I was just thinking about it. It was pulling up to the Checkerboard Lounge in Chicago in the early 80s, and Buddy Guy was sitting on a kind of a chaise lounge in the front, and I had an old Ford LTD that my dad had bought me, and kind of a jalopy. But anyway, it had these electric headlights, or something that they had covers on them. Okay. So I parked the car and was getting ready and walk in the club, and those headlight covers like lifted up like science fiction, and he started laughing like crazy. He loved that. I don't think any memory could be as good as that. That was great.
yeah, that's awesome. That's
just sitting there like chilling and just watching these headlights going.
Now, where is the Chicago blues scene right now? I mean, is it still thriving really well? Has it died down a little bit since like the Blues Brothers era?
It's kind of just wherever you make it. There's, of course, Legends and House of Blues are your two best places, Mm-hmm. But you can the small clubs. There's not very much anymore. A lot of it is gentrified. Can't get parking. You know what I mean? Right. Even if you could get to the clubs, you can't park. Maybe tonight you could park, but they're not open. That's why.
Right. Where do you normally play at? Where do you play at the most? You have a steady
House of Blues downtown.
House of Blues.
That's just the best gig to be associated.
Right.
How often, the name, got the history.
How often do you play down there?
Well, I've been playing there 4 times a month until this stuff. Everything's canceled. But I've been playing it for over 20 years. So.
Wow, so you're just a regular there at the House of Blues, man.
Yeah, I fit in with the woodwork.
You want to play us another tune, Keith?
Yeah, I think we'll go. We'll do a boogie band.
All right.
I feel good, baby, like a ball and chain. I'm feeling good, baby, like a ball and chain. If I can't shake these blues, man, that'll drive for me insane. Well, I ain't telling a lie, no, I ain't got no money, man, I'm kind of broke. This thing don't quit, it ain't gonna be no joke. I'm gonna tell all you people living life a ball and chain. If I don't quit these blues, y'all about to drive for me insane. There it is, man. Yeah. Come on now.
Come on.
Hey, Jeff, I'm gonna tell you, baby, I'm almost broke. If they don't stop this nonsense, it ain't gonna be no joke. Hey, baby, living life like a ball and chain. If they don't stop these lonesome blues, y'all, that'll drive for me insane.
There you go.
Simple. We're keeping it simple, man.
Yeah, man. It's amazing what you can do within those 3 chords. You're playing way up there off the 12th fret. You're going back and forth. You know, it's really cool what you can do between, like I said, between 3 chords. I mean, you sound like a full band playing there, and you're actually just playing 3 chords and just yourself. Do you play mainly by yourself, Keith, or do you play with a full band?
No, yeah, but I do some electric stuff too.
Yeah. Do you normally, when you're playing electric stuff, are you a sideman mainly, or do you do like?
I'll front it.
You'll front it as a sideman with a full band.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. I'd love to see you play out. You play out a lot. You play a lot of shows, a lot of
at least
gigs.
200 a year.
200 a year.
Now I'm out of work.
Yeah, you were saying you were supposed to go to Ireland here in July.
Yeah, April. I was there last April for 2 weeks. It was awesome.
What do you do there in Ireland? What's going on in Ireland?
Well, I do 2 things, which I do with my life anyway. I play and fish.
Right. That's kind of like the home of fly fishing, isn't it, Keith? Isn't that?
Yeah. You know what? I wanted to catch the wild sea run browns, and I caught about 50 of them.
Oh,
nothing too big, but they were pretty awesome, man.
Yeah. What were you fishing with? What like a?
They're wet. Only use wet flies there.
Yeah, it was like a 6 weight or like
you
8.
You fish tide water. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going with like an 8 weight then.
No, I was catching small ones.
Small ones. Okay.
Nothing big. 13 inches, 14.
Sea run brown.
Yeah. But real ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They go in the salt and they come back on the tide,
Right.
It's called the River Saley is the one I fished.
There's got to be so much fly fishing history there.
Yeah, and I did try a lot of they have a lot of these what do they call fisheries they call where they buy ponds and they stock them,
right?
But they're run really efficient. They're a lot of fun. Like, you get there in the morning. This is the best thing. You get there in the morning and they make you tea and breakfast, and they give you, then they tell you what part of the lake to try and give you your flies for like $25. It's awesome.
That's pretty sweet. I've been to England a few times, and I'll tell you a funny story about England. I was there, and
I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, so I was there, and there was this older couple that were housing us. My buddy and I, we were in college,
Okay.
And we're kind of like, not exchange students, but it's kind of like a program like that where you go and stay with like a family for a couple weeks and stuff. Yeah. And I'm just an old boy from Texas, I haven't really seen the world before. And this old couple serves up some blood sausage. And I was like,
I heard about that.
Now, I love sausage. I'm from Texas, and you can look at the size of me, and you can tell I enjoy kielbasa every once in a while, So I was like, I'll try this blood sausage. You cut it, it's like purple, Oh my gosh, the most disgusting thing I ever put in my mouth. But it was like this lady. She's elderly. I bet she was probably 70 years old, 75 years old. You don't complain about it. You eat the sausage. You just shove it in your mouth. Ever since then, I just every time I think of England, I think of that blood sausage meal. And with my buddy John, we were traveling through Europe, and
that's awesome.
I'll never forget that moment. I can't remember the lady's name, but I know she makes a mean blood sausage.
Yeah, they eat some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
man.
they really do, man.
Or something, or odd jaws, or
Where do you play in Ireland? What kind of gigs do you play over there?
I played a couple festivals. I played like festivals, and then one place they rented out a recreation center, sold tickets, and a couple pubs.
Is it
bed and breakfast? A bed and breakfast did a music series. I just kind of find them online on the internet.
Is it a pretty profitable expedition, or you just kind of break even at it, or?
Well, as I told, I told this once to, Robert Thompson from Third Year Fly Fisher, by any chance? You know him?
No, I don't. No.
All the fly fishing DVDs or.
Okay, sure.
He said, is that profitable? And I said, nothing in music is profitable, son.
It's so true. It's so true. Like, I told my wife it's
profitable.
Right. I told my wife it's like a curse almost.
Yeah.
I wish I could just be like an accountant, where I just go out and just like relax, or not relax, but just like be very comfortable in that setting every day from 9 to 5, go home, eat dinner, go to church on Sunday, never ask questions, just go on with life. But my mind never stops, Keith.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's the problem. Your mind never stops. You're a creative person, so your mind will never stop. I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse. And we have several authors and several musicians and stuff that are online that come on the podcast, and I ask them a lot. I'm like, is your creative mind a blessing or a curse? Because
curse.
It's a curse. I sometimes I can honestly say it can be a curse, especially like, if you're the main breadwinner in your family, it's like, well,
oh yeah,
you're going to be a square peg in a round hole for your whole life trying to make a living, and it's probably not going to work out too well for you.
I find that people that shut it down, they get kind of frustrated later on in life.
Tell me more about that, Keith. Do you have some examples of that?
I've just met people that seem like they would have rather not run the grind and just done some more free spirit stuff,
Especially fly anglers. The term trout bum comes to mind.
Especially fishing people. Just people that would love, just to go and take off and go to a stream, wake up. And I wake up, I told you didn't believe me, but I wake up like at 4 or 4:30. I'm in the car on the road somewhere and hitting some river. And, to me, that's freedom. So.
Yeah, that is freedom.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm having to adjust, with this crazy stuff going on, and become a little bit more real.
Yeah.
Like apply for bank loans and all that kind of stuff, and unemployment.
Yeah, I hear you. It is an interesting.
I'm becoming a little bit. That's the silver lining to all this, is that you're becoming a little bit more like a real person.
Yeah, you have to grow up a little bit at 40 years old for me.
Yeah. I'm hoping I can degrow after this is over.
Yeah, you go back to being a kid. Now your shirt says Guild. Are you sponsored by Guild or not?
No, but I have a beautiful Guild 12 string right over here.
Can we take a look at it?
I'm going to break it out for the first time for the remote no pressure fly cast.
Let's take a look at this, Keith.
You got it, man. It's a jumbo. I'm coming back. Don't go nowhere.
He's coming back, folks. Not going anywhere. He's going to get his jumbo. For those that aren't musicians, that's a type of guitar. It's a different style, a little bit different style, a little different cut, different sound.
This would be the Hardy 1940 fly reel of guitars.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Do you have all 12 strings on there or just the 6?
I think 11 of them in tune. Yeah, I got 12.
Oh, man. Do you play the blues on that very often? You play the blues on the 12 string a lot?
Not too much, because it's really so hard to keep in tune, but I'll do a little for you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm going to the country, baby. Don't you want to go? I'm going to the country, baby. Baby, don't you want to go? If I don't get you right, man, You know, I'm headed down that lonesome road. I'm gonna tell my people, baby, know it's going down. Yeah. I'm gonna tell all your peoples, man. Going down. Won't do it right, man. Little mama sure want you around. Yeah. One more time. Hey. Won't do it right, man.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Well, Keith, thanks for hanging out with us today. If people wanted to learn more about your music, if they want to learn more about who you are, see where you're playing here in the next few months, where would they go to do that, Keith?
Pretty simple. KeithScottBlues.com.
Sweet. We'll be sure to put up the links to all your stuff there in the show notes there. And
that's great. I really appreciate it. I'm doing these live streams on Facebook, as you've seen. Every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern and every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Great. Excellent. We'll be sure to put that up there as well. And
if you feel like it, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. No problem. And you have a PayPal set up or something where people can give you some tips?
I do. I didn't know if it's cool to say. I have a Venmo. I have a PayPal.me/fishingblues.
Uh-huh.
And then I have Venmo at Keith Scott Blues.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Well, Keith, I really appreciate it, man. And we've got to get together and fish. And I know we've tried to make it happen.
We'll go into that river. I know that secret river you put up there. Yes, sir. You were out a little bit, it looked like.
Yeah, I've been out quite a bit lately.
Out with Nick Garlock or no?
No, not with Nick. I need to go with Nick, but I'm not with Nick. Just a lot by myself, contemplating life.
Looks beautiful, man.
It is. It's a great place. Great place.
Yeah. I'll meet you up there, man.
That sounds great, man. Well, hey, I can't thank you enough, and we'll be sure to put all your links into the show notes.
I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, man, well, have a great day. Thanks a lot, Keith.
What a great day it is, man. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this week on the Remote No Pressure Podcast. Bill, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
It is always a pleasure. Especially face-to-face.
Yes. Enough of this quarantine stuff, huh?
Yeah, enough of the quarantine, man. Mm-hmm. Enough of the quarantine, man. Everyone's going back to work. Indiana, Illinois. Things are starting to happen in the Midwest. Texas is back.
Numbers are going down.
Speaking of Texas, we're supposed to be there right now fishing with Mr. Paul Torres.
I know.
Man, what a bummer. It's okay, though. It's okay, Bill.
I blame China.
China. Oh, so many things in my head. I'm just, I'm really, because Kaz even told me sometimes you got to say things and just let them lie. If people get offended by it, sometimes you just got to put it out there.
Yeah.
You know?
You are who you are.
I think I try too hard just to
filter.
I filter a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't filter so much. You know?
Whoa, this could change the podcast here.
This could change the trajectory of the podcast, but
welcome to the Remote No Pressure Racist Podcast.
Welcome to the podcast, mother No mother filter. I'm trying to keep from the explicit on the podcast.
The actual beep?
Yeah. Or no, you could select explicit like on YouTube and all that other stuff. And I try to
not have it.
I try not to have that.
Yeah.
You know.
Parents don't like their kids listening to that.
Yeah, I mean, I know my kids go around on YouTube all the time, accidentally hit things, and my kids like to listen to the podcast every once in a while too. And I don't want them like, Daddy, why'd you say beep?
Why was there so many beeps?
What's the beeps for, Dad? Actually, if you go to jefftroutman.us or go to the Jeff Troutman actual Facebook page, I played at a radio station here a few weeks ago at WYCE. Did you see that, Bill?
Yeah, I did.
Well, one of my songs has damn in it, the word damn.
Yeah.
And not 6th Street Dam.
Oh, that's the one I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Well,
There's
this
another
is awkward.
There's another song that has the word damn in it, and Too Damn Old to Die.
Yeah.
And my son, he didn't have school that day, so he came with me to the studio. And we get back in the car, and he was like, Daddy, why did you say damn? What does that mean? And I was like, well, he didn't say the word. He said, Dad, you said the D word, you know? And I'm like, well, I know, but like sometimes when you're writing and you're an artist, dadgummit or darn it just doesn't do it, you know?
Yep.
And I was talking to him about that, and I don't go around swearing around the house or anything, but it was kind of an awkward conversation.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Back in my songwriting days, I had an explicit song. So,
Really?
Yeah.
What word did you use or words?
The S word.
Really?
I did.
Bad boy.
I know. Well, you know, it was almost a decade ago. I was a different person. I was in my early 30s, you know.
It was in your early 30s that you wrote it?
Yeah.
Bill. We got to hear this song now, Bill. I tell you what, why don't we go? I'm going to go upstairs and get my guitar. Can you play the song?
Oh, man, I haven't played guitar in a couple years.
Oh, man.
I'll start picking it up again. We'll do it sometime.
Okay, and we have to play it live here on the TV show, on the YouTube. I don't know where you guys are listening. Maybe you're listening to iTunes or Apple Podcast or Stitcher or YouTube. But either way, if you could give us a shout out. What are you laughing about, Bill?
Just going through all the different formats: Stitcher, Grinder.
Grind. You know, that's not the first time you brought up Grinder, Bill.
I know. Well, I've never visited. I've only heard things, you know.
Yeah.
Mostly from friends.
Look, someone's 10 feet away from me.
Oh, what?
What? Man, there's someone really close.
Just got pinged.
Got awkward, Bill. Really quick.
This is the longest outro ever. Nobody's gonna hear that anyways. So
No one listens to the outro.
no.
And it's funny because sometimes people will say, "Yeah, we listened the whole thing." I'm sure you're probably asleep by now. Lots of people listen to our podcast to go to sleep.
I used to.
Sometimes I wonder, like, maybe we could say things subliminally and get it in their heads. Buy a buff. Buy a decal.
Buy a buff for your friends.
Leave a review. Wake up tomorrow and leave a review for the Remote No Pressure podcast. Speaking of jumping the shark, I think we've jumped the shark, Bill.
Yeah, we have.
It's time to go.
Indeed.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Be sure to leave us a review subliminally or in real life. But until next time, go fishing.